What's up, M3
Yeah.
family?
Yo, yo.
Yo, you guys ready to step into it and step into it in a big way? Step into you,
Yeah, yeah. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
heck yeah.
right
Hi
on.
guys.
It was quiet
Hey,
out there.
how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Excellent. Today was a good day.
Awesome.
Jason, you sound like you got some allergies going on, man.
Yeah, man, I'm actually better than I have been the last few days too.
It's a heck of a season. It's a heck of a season. I'm just getting over mine right now. Like I just started seeing the doctor. I don't know if you've ever seen the immunotherapy doctor.
No, I still kind of have a suck it up attitude, but that's starting to wear on me, man.
You know, I didn't even know much about it. Jennifer got it, and she had allergies, so she went to go fix it. They find out
Yeah.
exactly what you're allergic to, and then they give you a little bit of that. You have a reaction to it when you get it, but it
Yeah.
just dulls, like you don't even have any response to it. And for the first time in my life, like year, 2 years ago, I walked around like I didn't have allergies. I never know what that
Really?
was like. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm sure that feels good.
And then hard-headed me, I just like, oh, I don't need that anymore, and I stopped. And this year, it nailed me so hard.
Yeah,
So
I bet.
yeah. Well, what's
Yeah.
up? What's been going on with you guys? Are you guys taking this stuff in and seeing massive stuff happen in your life? You want a boost? What are you looking for today? What do we need? Because I'm here to give it.
Well, I guess I will first if you guys don't mind. One thing's for sure and unfortunate. And I don't know if this is normal, especially in the beginning stages, but like I've missed like a week or two straight, and it's almost like rehab, dude. If you don't stay on it, I mean, you almost forget. I don't know, dude. It's like for example, if if I had the opportunity to do something like this more than once a week, I probably would.
I hear you, brother. I hear you, man. And in the beginning, that's what it is. You still there?
Yeah.
By the way, I love JJ Cool.
JJ Cool L.
Cool L. I love
You know,
that.
I'm trying to be kind of like funny and creative,
Yeah,
but every week I'll shoot for a laugh.
right on, man. You know what? What you're talking about is so true. And it's a conscious thing. You have to, how did you get to where you are right now? You've invested 30 plus years into this, right? And so now at this point, it doesn't just switch by saying, and Bob says it in the coaching, he says it, hey, if you think that these things are going to change for you just because you're aware of this, and he gets people a lot of times right when they're in that moment, truth resonates. They're like, yeah, yeah. He goes, if you think things are going to change for you just because you know this, he said, forget about it. He said, it's
Yeah.
not. He said, you've got to make a conscious effort to be this. There's an article I share with you guys, The Common Denominator of Success by Albert E.N. Gray. And he talks about this. And he says it's holding your intention and doing it every day and working on it every day. And the magic happens in your life on the day you wake up and you actually have the realization that you didn't have to do it, but you were it. That's the key, is this keeping to it. And I'm not talking about grinding for 10 years at this thing, but I'm talking about exactly what you said, is I could do this every day. I could meet with you, Matt, regularly. I could have this material in front of me. And that's what we do in the bigger coaching, isn't Savannah knows about that. Actually, Eric, I don't think he's here, but he stepped into our big coaching program. And that's exactly one of the ways that we go about doing what we do. We make a point to block it and say, this is how I study every day. And I hold my intentions on this to keep myself here. That's what makes a shift. You're hitting it on it, Jason. You're hitting on it.
Yeah.
I got to win. Go, Savannah.
I would like to just chime in really quick because, yeah, I'm doing, the coaching and stuff, but all this material for me, like, yeah, I know it. And then at some point, like, it was working for me, which it still is. And the proof was there. And that's why I invested in myself, But without applying it every day and without actually doing the work, then you're almost at like a standstill. So that's where I'm at, where I know I need to, sit down, do the work, actually put pen to paper and figure out exactly what I'm wanting out of this program, and what I'm wanting to do with my life versus, okay, I have all this knowledge and then I'm just going to like do the same thing. So I just wanted to chime in a little bit. So yeah.
Right. It's almost more painful to have the knowledge and know and then not change it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, there is something different out there. It's almost better to be completely ignorant to it and not
like
know.
I'm slacking.
Yeah, that's it. It's what it feels like from times. It's always about love and giving ourselves love. But you better believe I beat my head against the wall. It's like, oh man, like what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. That's the way that we're programmed. That's the way that we're made. And it just takes that time of doing it and knowing it and understanding it. I've got a win to share. So I've had something that I was been thinking about, that what I wanted to do. And coaching like this and coaching in my other coaching and what I do is I've shared with you. It took me a while. At first, I wasn't that, but I was already in the thing. So I had to do it. And then I had to build it and do it and build it before I became comfortable to do these things. Now, some of you might have experience with this, but my wife called me from the beach last week and says, hey, honey, Finn, my youngest, he's not going to be able to have a baseball team unless they've got a coach. Would you help? It's just an assistant coach position. And it's like, well, shoot, what do you say about that? I had visions and feelings about being a coach. Okay, I'll do that. So immediately, like I say, okay, and somehow she's over in the coast technology. And then all of a sudden, this flood of emails comes to me. And then these text messages about all the things that I'm going to be doing. And then on the roster, it says at the top, it says Matt Morgan, head coach. I've never coached kids. So I sat and I kind of went back and forth, and I told her, and I'm pointing that way because she's over there. I stole her office today. And, I was like, I don't know if I'm okay with that and whatever it is, if it's just a title. But then all of a sudden, I just had this surrender moment where it's like, I don't know how to do this, but I know that I can create it. This is what I want it to be. This is the experience that I want. I want to feel this thing. I want these kids to have this experience. As long as I build that inside of me and I act and I come from that place, then the results will just follow. That's all that it is. And then, boom, there's the win. You just stop, you chill, you just calm out, and that's just the way it's going to be. How about you all? Thank you for that.
I got a win today. I got a few wins today. I've been like meticulously minding my finances and my commitments and abiding by my scheduling, and I finally was able, like my car has been
on the road for pretty much forever since I got it. I've been going back and forth with the dealership, but I actually even got rear-ended about, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago or something like that. And car barely, like my car took it like it was nothing. There's hardly any damage. Like I could go pay for the damages. That's how little damage there was. That same person took off from the accident with me and T-boned somebody coming off the freeway and totaled both vehicles. DUI. I got pulled over leaving the accident for running a stop sign, and the cop basically told me to come back to the accident. I didn't get in any trouble. I didn't even have insurance. My car wasn't registered. Like, I don't know how spiritual you guys are, but like, oh my gosh, like it's undeniable at that point when they're like, here, we'll hit you up with the insurance information so you can make a claim and have a good night. Oh, and by the way, the officer emails me and tells me when my registration is going to be like overdue to the point of it being towed. So that was on the 10th, and I was able to get this done by then. That is a super duper huge win in so many ways in it. And I had to do a lot to make this happen, and trust and have faith a lot and a lot of other things to make this move. and it can't. And I was able to do it at just the right time. I'm very stoked today. I don't know if you can tell, but
Yeah,
I'm very
talk
happy.
about the universe lining up,
So,
man.
thank you.
Yeah, right. Talk about the universe just lining up right on the money there.
I've got something to say. Can you?
Yeah.
I don't have any wins, but one thing that I've noticed is I'm I'm starting to deal with my losses better. Like, although things are not well for me, especially in my marriage, I'm just not especially only in my marriage. I'm just I understand that regardless of what happens, life goes on, but also just not dwell on things, and I have the urge and the ability to just move on, and sometimes you got to dwell on a subject. That's not sometimes something needs to be focused on. I understand that. That's not what I'm talking about, but it's just like mentally, it just I don't know, man. I don't know if just I feel like I just been kicked, and maybe I've done a lot of kicking myself, but I have certainly been kicked a lot lately. I want to acknowledge that whatever happens in my life, I've probably called for some of it or caused some of it or whatnot. But some of it I haven't, in my opinion. But it's always this type of stuff here, this mental learning has given me the ability to stay optimistic and just one thing that I'm trying to get away from, like my neighbor just told me, and you kind of hear, and when somebody complains, life's just, I don't know if there's any kids around or we can handle little small bad words, but life's just a shit show. And I've gotten in this thing where I agree with that. Life's just a shit show. It's just one more thing after another. Let's carry on. But I got to get out of that. Why? I asked somebody today, I said, okay, God gave us water to drink. And going back to I am spiritual, more so religious. I know there's a difference, but uh, um, God gave us water to drink. All the food we need to survive, it comes out of the ground, dude. It either hangs from trees or grows underground or whatever, right? The air, trees produce the oxygen. Why have we made things so difficult? What happened?
You want me to answer that for you?
Yes.
We don't understand the stuff that we share here. We don't understand what our wonderful mind is for. We live through our senses. That's it. Senses can only tell you what's going on right now and something about what's happened in the past, and that's all. But we've been taught to live through our senses, and we forgot about the power that we actually hold inside of ourselves. So when you say something like life is just a shit show, that's what life is. You are that creative being that way. When somebody says something like that and they feel it and they internalize it, that's what shows up in their life because that's what they're programmed to look for, and that's the vibration they're sending out. They're sending out the shit show vibration, and it has to be a thing where you consciously say, "Well, I'm changing that. What do I want it to be?" And we've had that not programmed or programmed out of us. When you were younger, man, you were looking at stuff from like, what do I want it to be? I'm going to do what I want to do, and it's not going to be hard, you know. But you got programmed as you got older that that's not what life is. Life doesn't happen that way, and so you just got away from that. You still have the same capability inside of you, but we have to believe that. It's like the programming's been it's been programmed over the top of the fact that you must first believe in you and your ability to create. And that's why we study this stuff regularly. That's the base level. If you don't believe this stuff works, if a person doesn't believe that this stuff works, why would they spend any time on it? That law of attraction stuff, man. That don't cut it. That doesn't work. I tried that stuff. People say that, and that's what shows up in their life. Why would they consciously say, this is what I'm actually choosing? Savannah, do your work and do it regularly. And I write it out and I write it out and I figure it out. Why would you do all that crap if you didn't think it was going to work? Like, it's a waste of time. But when you understand that that is the conscious direction of your life, you're creating your life right there. That's exactly what you're doing. And we study this to understand what do we say? This is how everything was done. And we said it again and again and again. I said, what'd you say? I would like to hear you say that again. She said, reading from her material, this is how everything is done. And that's including the things that you don't want. It's all being done that same way. Boom. That's what it's about, brother. And that's why I say this stuff it's right on the money. Truth resonates with people. Start to define out what it is that you want. And Jason, anytime that you want, and the same for anybody on here, anytime you want some of my time to sit down and I can help do that, don't deny me what I love, because that's what I love to do. I love to get into that space with you guys, and just that's when the direction and this stuff gets very, very significant. You can create anything that you want. Anything that you can build in your marvelous mind, you can make manifest in the world. That sounds a little heavy to start, but you just keep walking along with us here at M3 and you see exactly that that's what the truth is. And with that was a perfect lead in, brother, for attitude today. Attitude. Anybody want to chime in on what attitude is? We always say, but I come to attitude. Like, no, I don't want to say what it is.
I think I know.
Okay.
But I think that was a rhetorical question. I don't think you actually want somebody to give the answer. So I'll let you go.
You know what? It wasn't. I was serious about it, but it kind of, sort of. You're right. That was a good vibration pickup, brother. It sounded kind of rhetorical the way that I presented it, because everybody always defaults to, what is attitude? I got a good attitude. Yeah, but what is attitude? Everybody always says, but I've got a good attitude. Well, if your actions aren't in harmony with what it is that you're really wanting to do, you can actually default it back to what we would call a bad attitude. A bad attitude just isn't if somebody is coming in and picking a fight. We think, oh, I'm peaceful. I don't cause trouble with people and stuff. So, I obviously don't have a bad attitude. No, if you're not taking action in the direction that you want, then you're not believing that that's possible for you. You're holding negative thoughts. You're allowing negative thoughts to be in what it is you're thinking, the thing that you're in control of. And now that's directing your feelings and your actions. So attitude is the composite of the whole thing. If somebody says, I want to have a fit body, I want to build the business that I want, and they're not taking consistent daily action there, there's a breakdown of attitude there. There's a breakdown in the thought process causing the feeling and then the action. There it is, the composite. Attitude is a vibration. You're either in vibrational harmony with what it is that you want, or you're not. And that's what the positive and the negative, what we say, is. What I want is different than what you want. So we can say positive and negative polarity in that way. That's another law of the universe, polarity. But for you, you're setting up your own polarity based on what it is that you want. And if you're not having thoughts that are in harmony with that, you got a bad attitude. But it's not like, it's not the bad attitude that we think about, like, oh, that kid over there, that guy, it is that, but we don't have to externally reflect that in that I'm causing people trouble all day long, or I'm a troublemaker. It's not that type of attitude. You're just not holding an attitude that's in vibrational harmony of what you want. So here it is. Let me hijack the screen here. There it is. Earl Nightingale was Bob Proctor's mentor, and he wrote a program called Lead the Field. And the very first part of that for him was most important was attitude. Your vibration that you're sending out there in the world is what he considered to be most important. So he called it the magic word, and that's where it comes from, because Earl mentored Bob. That's where we roll into with M3 and thinking into results. We did this slide last week. Now it rolls over into attitude. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you're right. And Henry Ford's basically saying, that's what's going to show up for you. Even if you're taking action, you're actually causing yourself to go out and do something, but you're holding the opposite vibration. The opposite vibration, the feeling that you're holding, is what's going to show up for you. And that's just much more of a struggle. It's almost crazy to do that. We say in coaching, don't do it when you feel that way. Don't do it. Back up, change your attitude, change your feeling about that, and then go take your action. Change it to what Henry Ford would say, I can. I can do it. Thomas Jefferson said, nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. And nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. Now, attitude alone, it's not going to get you there. You do need the skill. You need that prerequisite. You need the talent, but that can be developed. But without your attitude, all the skill in the world and all the talent in the world. And I mean, who's seen that? I used to race dirt bikes. Oh my gosh, I saw some guys come across there with the most talent that you'd ever imagine, have a bad attitude, and they never won. They never made it to champion. They never made a lasting impact or did much of anything. They just had this massive talent that you would see show up on occasion. It felt like a wasted thing. Without the mental attitude, your skill and your talent doesn't mean anything. So what is it? In order to understand what attitude is, we got to go back to the stick person. We have to understand the stick person just a little bit further. What is our conscious mind? That's where you and I live. As Jason had said, we're taught to live through that spot where we're receiving, through the antenna, the senses, see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Our mental faculties are up there. But what can the conscious mind do? This is a big, big thing with what's going on in the world. Our conscious mind can accept or reject. But because we don't consciously pay attention to that, Jason's just saying that right now. I'm finally being aware. I'm being aware of what I'm doing. We allow all kinds of stuff around us to direct our thoughts that way, to direct that wonderful thought building process. And that's what our conscious mind has the ability to do. It can build images. This is why the news can be such a negative thing for people. The first thing they do in the morning is turn on the news and they just get angry. And that becomes their vibration for the rest of the day. And just stay there and have an ignorance about what their conscious mind actually is. When you see the harmony of what our conscious mind is to our subconscious mind, you see just how important, just how perfectly the thing was set up. You can't multitask. You can only hold one image at a time. Oh man, it'd be cool if I could do multiple things. No, it was set up that way for a reason, because you, God's highest form of creation, have the ability to think. You get to build the image, and you can only hold one image at a time. And if you're holding the image of what you want, nobody can come put something else in your mind. What I was going to say to you, Jason, is Viktor Frankl wrote a book. And it's not like this, a great read that just rivets you. It's not like this wonderful adventurous ride. But Viktor Frankl was in the concentration camps in the war. He lost all his family and everything. But during that time, he actually chose to understand that there was meaning to whatever it was he was going through versus, like, I can't believe this, I'm a victim or whatever. He said there's meaning behind this, and he looked for it. And what he found was the worst circumstances in the whole world, he found there was no single thing in the world that could make him, and this is the power of your conscious mind, have a thought that he didn't want to have. He could have any thought at any time that he wanted, and that was your last true freedom. And that just shows you the power of what was created there when you learn to control that. And that's the area that we have control over. Subconscious, gosh, it's really, really awesome. It can do some really cool stuff, but it can't do that. The subconscious doesn't have the ability to reject stuff. The moment that you become emotionally involved with something and you feel it, the subconscious accepts it, it's real. Remember we said subconscious said it doesn't know anything about tomorrow. It doesn't know anything about yesterday. It only knows right now. If you get angry and you ever, let me ask you this, some of you on here. You ever had a hard time with somebody and you get so just pissed off and they're not even here with you? That was yesterday, and you begin living that moment. I mean, that is happening now. You are feeling it now, and that is the power of the subconscious. Obviously, not in a fashion that you want, but you feel the power of that there. What we're talking about now and everything that we just discussed right before we were headed here is that we have that ability to create that any way we want, but we just create it from the way that we've kind of been trained to do it. Your subconscious only accepts, and it accepts the moment you become emotionally involved with something. It's now. That is where your vibration comes from. That's what it is. It's feeling. Feeling is just a word that we invented to describe the vibration we're in. Now, the body is an instrument of the mind. It does exactly what the mind tells it to do. It's going to be in the vibration of whatever your mind is, and it's going to take action based on that, the vibration that you're in. You all just got the keys to the kingdom right there to understand that you have the ability to create whatever vibration that you want. Understand this. Energy always flows from the top down on the stick person. It always comes in through conscious mind. It might not seem like it when this is happening because it just becomes automatic. You're running on paradigm. You're just letting it go. But you always have the ability, just like Viktor Frankl said, during the worst of times, nothing could make him have a thought that he didn't want to have. There's your power. So it comes from the top down. You have the ability in your conscious mind to choose something positive. You choose a positive thought. You choose a thought that's in harmony with what you want. Well, first off, you got to have what you want to find out. Life is just a shit show. That becomes different, right? You say life is just wonderful, or life is just a wonderful adventure to me, and I'm always discovering new things, like how to be a little league coach. So you're going to view it from that point of view. Obviously, I could have taken that thing and walked around and be like, how the hell does this happen to me? And I'm always getting thrown that wife of mine, right? Same thing, but it's just how you take it, and how it is that you're choosing to build that thought.
How would you have acted if you didn't want to be a coach?
Well, let me say this. I'm not so sure that I really wanted to be a coach, but I know that I got in vibrational harmony with it. But the fact that it's happening, I get to choose. Because let's say, does life always happen the way you want it to happen when you want it, like exactly on time?
No.
It doesn't, right? So I don't know. You might be getting closer to home. Like I was thinking, maybe I wasn't ready for this, but I'll also accept that, hey, God understands when you're ready for something too. He obviously said, okay, Matt, you sent me that vibration and you didn't offer any resistance to it, and there it is. So this is my moment, and I know that there's going to be good things from it. But whatever's happening to me, that this is part of the wins that I share with you. It's just you're choosing the positive thoughts. W. Clement Stone wrote, Earl Nightingale wrote that book about him called That's Good. Why? Because W. Clement Stone in the 1970s was the wealthiest man in America. He was in insurance. And it didn't matter what the heck when he walked into the office, what was going on. Somebody would say, the building caught on fire. And he'd be like, that's good. He'd figure out why it was good later. Because now you understand you're the conscious creator of this vibration. As soon as you say that and you start to look for the thing that's good, there's good in anything that you're trying to do. There's good in anything that you're receiving out there in the world. And you're going to find what you look for. Let's talk about the Bible. Very simply, the Bible said, seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. What does that really mean to you guys now that you hear M3? What are you looking for?
Can I chime in?
You bet.
All right. So last week, my kids got sick, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, both of them are snotty and sneezing and not feeling it and wanting my attention and all that, and I'm debating taking them to the sitter and going to work still because she said it was okay. And I was like, I just kind of want to be with them, and then I text like my privates and just see where their heads are at. And all of them were like, hey, we're not going to be able to make it this week. Can we reschedule? And I'm just like, yes, we can, like, thank you. Like, I'm glad that you guys said it before I had to. But on any other week, that would have been a bad thing, right? Because I want my private sessions. I want my good money, I want to keep that going. But the fact that I was already thinking like, man, I just want to like be with my kids, and I don't really need them, you know what I mean? So as soon as I started thinking that, then it was just weird how every single one of them lined up, and it was like, we'll reschedule, So
Yeah.
yeah.
A lady I know was about to buy a house just a little ways away from us, and she really wanted it, and it bummed her out. Something happened, she couldn't get it, and that could be a big letdown too. And it's like, well, what do you look for? Would you, like you're talking about, Savannah, and you go, you know what? That's just opening up the door to something better. When you open your mind up to that, and you know that maybe you're getting a more consistent client, or you're going to get a client that's leading you to 5 other clients. You don't know what it is exactly, but when you know that it's coming and that's what you're expecting, that's the vibration that you're in. And I want to share something that came to mind too, because Johnny and I talked about this last week. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, your story, we all have, each and every one of us is significant. That you just have to accept that. And we will give many reasons why, I'm not, because that's kind of how we've been conditioned. But each and every one of us is significant. You're the only version of you. So when your story is dark, when it's something that you're having a hard time overcoming this stuff, that power is raw. That is not just like, oh, it's going to be bad and bad and bad. When you're starting from a place that's very hard, you have the ability, when you overcome your obstacle, to go out there, and there's nobody that can stand in front of you to say, well, you don't understand. For me, it's that. He's like, no, look, I did the work, and this is where it came from for me. I was able to overcome that. So when you start from a place that you consider to be hard, which, by the way, for all of us in one way, shape, or form, it is hard. This has been very hard for me to do this stuff and accept it. You have that ability to go out there and affect people in a big way, a big positive way. I got consultants in Procter Gallagher who step up and they go, you know what? It was really simple for me. I just came into this thing and I knocked it out of the park. Yeah, that kind of resonated. Like, I wanted that. I was down in the mud and having a hard time. And later, like, I didn't care about that story. I was like, that story's lame. That doesn't resonate with me at all. And I don't want to work with that person. But when I come up to you and I say, I understand what you're going through. I have an intellectual mind that I can take stuff in. And once it gets programmed in there, I have a challenging time letting go and understanding that you're just sending a vibration out there, and that thing's coming back. Like, I had to have everything worked out from point A to point B in a big way. I can't even begin to explain to you guys. And being able to let that stuff go and get into this harmony, which my wonderful wife, I mean, she's really been stepping into this space in a big way too. The mystery of it all, it's the most beautiful and profound part of it. And it works every time for every person. It's just about being able to let it go. So for me to be able to let that go and get here and start making these things happen in our life, it's a big deal. That's why I hear you guys, each and every one of you, when you say that, like, I'm challenged with this. Man, I get it. Don't give up. When I'm talking to you about persisting, I'm talking to you about persisting from the heart. I mean it. And I mean to you, persist in your thinking. Persist in changing your thinking and your feeling. Don't persist and go out there and grind anymore. I ain't talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about persisting inside of you. That's how much I believe in this stuff, because when you persist in it, you will see it, you will get it, and you will be able to go out there. I don't care what your goal is, set it. Yes, that's great. But the key is that I'm teaching you how to go get whatever your goal may be anytime for the rest of your life. That's the key. And persist in it. This is the stuff. This is the stuff that makes all the difference, becoming aware.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
I have a question. What happens? I gotta explain or ask this properly. What happens when I imagine at a time in your life, and maybe we're all going through this a little bit. A lot of this stuff is making sense to me, but it's had to be taught. This not not only taught, but simply confirmed and brought to one's attention. Because if you think about it, I mean, this is all kind of, if you really think about it, not only common sense, but it kind of goes back, treat people how you want to be treated. Just the simple basics in life, really. But a lot of us forget that. Now, there's 5 or 6 of us here that are reminded of that. And all 6 of us uh, are surrounded by people who haven't been reminded of that in a very long time. So, for example, I just got in a huge altercation. My sister-in-law was here visiting, and dude, it was a complete nightmare. I mean, a lot of bad things happened. It was pretty serious. Serious stuff happened, but I'm okay with how I handled the situation, but a lot of people aren't. So, and I don't know if I'm just so strong. I don't let the majority. I even if the opinion, even if I have the minority opinion, I don't let the majority change my opinion. Now, that's because I truly. So, how do you deal with that when you're the minority? Granted, we're the minority learning this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so we're probably the minority that thinks a certain way, right?
Right. You know, when
How-
somebody is
yeah.
somebody's presenting their point of view and they're presenting it from an emotional point of view, even if you're not getting it in that moment, I always try to circle back and understand, change, our perception, which is one of our higher faculties, and try to look at it through their eyes. If somebody's lashing out at you, usually they're coming from fear, and they don't like to show fear because, that can be shame associated, like you're scared of something or whatever. So the true thing doesn't come to the surface, but you always try to take their perception on and understand it from their point of view. Um, and then, yeah, be okay with what it is that you do, because you're not, opinions are going to be different. Each and every one of us are going to have a different opinion on that. And if you don't agree with somebody, it doesn't make either one right or wrong. It's just a difference of opinion, it's a difference of perception. Uh, if you feel okay, and you know that and you feel that truly with everything that you did, then just let it be that way. Let it go and let God do what God's going to do.
Nowadays, so many people are delivering opinions as if they're facts. We've all forgotten what an opinion really is. It's irritating. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, people think, of course, somebody's opinion is going to be a fact. My opinion is, the sky is blue. Well, that's also a fact, right?
Mhm.
Or not necessarily. I guess an opinion is opinion and a fact is a fact.
Yeah.
But so, is an opinion never a fact?
Uh, Boy, you got me on that one. That's a legitimate question I'll have to think about. But opinions are the cheapest thing in the world. Everybody has them. That's why when we talk about what we talk about here, we work with law. Law is the same thing with every person every time, like cause and effect. I mean, are you going to go somewhere here in this universe where there's not cause and effect? The law of vibration, that everything is vibrating. So we always work from those universal laws, and then we use them, and we learn to use them in our favor. But yeah, some people just come up and say, yeah, I mean, forgive me for this one's the one that came to mind, but they'll say, oh, women aren't, smart as men or something like that. I mean, that's just a silly opinion. That's just their opinion. And you know that you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything. I actually, when I hear somebody like they live that way and they feel that way, I actually have a lot of compassion for them, because I realize what a limited life that they're producing for themselves. Johnny, you got your hand up, brother.
Yeah, I did want to say something. I had a few points that I wanted to touch on, but I wanted to let you speak, Jason. Um, I try really hard not to, like you said, get emotionally invested, especially if somebody isn't on the same wavelength as I am. If you do feel stable in like your convictions and what you've done or how you progress through your own life. I don't want to tell anybody how to live, especially because I'm still figuring this stuff out myself. But we aren't all, I don't feel like we are all on the same wavelength. And he had asked, how do we adjust to this new state of mind? How do we adjust to like socially interacting with people, with us being the minority of this state of mind, I believe is what he had said. And I think we take it moment by moment and try to stay on our own vibration, try not to fall into theirs, try not to get emotionally invested. Because if you're secure in where you're at and you feel like you're an arrow pointed straight at your goals, I wouldn't let anything dissuade you from that. But if you are feeling convicted, or if you are, I mean, you did bring it forward to us, so I feel like there's something that you might have thoughts about there. I would definitely consider those thoughts and look into it a little further and not leave it in static. I would try to get to the bottom of that so that whatever foundation you have with that or with yourself is stable. That way nothing can shake that.
Yeah, I appreciate feedback. That's a good point.
Yeah, that was really good, Johnny. You know, and you're going to find that. So you actually just made me think some more. Remember last week I was like, hey, join this M3 group, you know, let's see how it works. You know, I really need to get more active on that and just make that happen, because we need to make a platform where we can constantly share this stuff. And so that's it. You know, that this week I'll be more active on there and hop on there, you know, share your stuff. And we're going to create more space where we can get together. Because what you're going to find, if somebody's asking you to get into their vibration, you know, basically if they're having a bad attitude, the moment you get into their vibration, that's what you're in attraction with. That's what this slide's about. You know, positive or negative, what you want or don't want, it doesn't matter. Attitudes created from the top down. You see, the energy always flows, and we attract whatever vibration we are in harmony with. And so, if somebody can get you to get into that vibration, like you see that, so they get you to hold that vibration, you know it, you feel it. Well, that's what you're attracting to. You're going to attract more people like that. If somebody's agreeing with you, like, oh yeah, you know that they're bad and this is good or whatever, you're still in harmony with that. You have to be the conscious creator of what it is that you want. Well, I want to be around people that's thinking this way all the time, you know, and I want somebody to constantly remind me. Simple question: is that what you want? You know, cool. So I should be focusing back on what I want. Nah, I don't want to be in this situation. I get it, Jason, what you're sharing too. You know, I mean, right before I stepped into the coaching space, it was a big deal for me to flip my vibration. Out on the farm, my vibration was not able to be what I wanted it to be. Anyhow, remember that when we allow somebody to direct our thoughts or a TV or whatever, and that changes our vibration, we're giving a huge power away. We're attracting that stuff into our life. You can only attract what you're in vibrational harmony with, positive or negative. And so attitude is that composite, all those things. If you are finding that you're frustrated by something, take a look at the actions that you're taking. You're actually going to be taking actions in a way that says, you know, I'm attracting more of that to me also. You'll go out and you'll cause a fight with somebody else. You'll cause an argument with something else. You have to consciously take pause. And we're going to talk about that, about how to make those shifts and make those shifts in a big way. Consciously shift yourself to get back to that space. And I want to tell you guys, with what I do now, all I do is have really great conversations with great people all the time. If you have to, give yourself permission. Somebody has a bad attitude, move away from the person with a bad attitude. Jennifer and I have a thing, and it goes like this. You go, that's interesting. And then the first thing that you start to do, instead of consciously saying, okay, I'm going to get involved with what you're saying, you check to see if it's what you wanted. If it's not, you say, that's interesting. And then you switch the subject and you tell the person, because we're always in that vibration of noticing what's good about people. Everybody has something good about them. So change the subject and talk about what's good about that person. If they don't jump up and start getting into an attitude that's a higher vibration, then give yourself permission to leave. You give yourself permission to leave because you understand exactly what's going on. If you give that person permission to direct your thoughts and your feelings, man, you just gave it all away right there. And I'm not giving anybody that power over me. It can be said that one of the highest gifts that you can ever give somebody is your attention, your full undivided attention. And when you think about what that is, you're actually saying to somebody, I'm listening to you and I'm allowing you to guide my thoughts. My thoughts cause my feeling and they put my body in a vibrational harmony with something. And I'm giving you that ability right now. Don't just give that away to anybody. Your attitude's going to determine where you go in life. It's the foundation of either failure or success. You think about the vibrational harmony you're in, you're either attracting people to you that are pushing you in a greater direction toward what you want, or you're attracting people to you that are keeping you stuck right where you're at, maybe even taking you backwards. Your attitude is a composite of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. I'm going to flip this just a little bit. When you have your goal written out and you know what it is and you're not seeing yourself take action toward that goal, look for your breakdown in attitude. Check it out and say, what thoughts am I having? Oh, yeah, I can't do that. That's going to be too much work or whatever. Well, get real with it. Like we said, get it out on paper. Get it out in the real. Say, was that what I want? No, I want this. I want this is the action that I get by taking this. Getting clients. That's a good way to look at it. I don't want to bug people, I just, they're not going to want to. Some people get into that vibrational harmony and they don't even do it, man. They don't even make the phone call. They don't reach out to the person. You want to share your gift in whatever it is that you're doing. If you're in that stance of getting clients, see that person coming in and enjoying that and changing their whole life. That's what you're sharing. Get in vibrational harmony with that. And they love the relationship that they have with you. You start to see that and you feel that, then all of a sudden, there you go. You're going to take that positive action, attitude, thoughts, feelings, and action. There it is. Is that you, Jennifer? Are you out? Did everybody get kicked out? See what happens when I send that big of a vibration out? Mess with my electronics.
It was frozen.
So check this out. This is the other side of the tube. Are you muting?
Oh, sorry. Yep.
We thought this might. I attracted this too. I said, honey, when you're on the Zoom and you're in the same room, stuff can kind of go a little bit sideways. She's muted. Attitude is more than words. You can walk around and be like, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, and you're not. It's not that. When we affirm, oh, I've got an R in there. When we affirm what we want to ourselves, but we feel the opposite, you can liken it to telling someone good job when you feel as though they've not done a good job. I mean, you're trying to get the words out, You know what that feels like. It's a double binding message, so it's attracting and pushing away, and you've just got this funky thing here. It's got to be more than that. It's not just walking around and saying it, and not believing it. Sometimes when you're not getting down into feeling of it, then when you start to say what it is that you want and the positive of what you're wanting, it actually becomes an affirmation for you for what you don't want, because it just keeps reminding you that, oh, I can't do that. I don't have that. So we've got to get in vibrational harmony with the image and the image building of the thing and feeling it, of what it's like. But when we affirm what we want to ourselves and feel it as though the good we desire is already here, right on back to subconscious language, it's here now. We're attracting everything necessary for success. This is how everything's done. The longer we maintain a positive attitude, the faster we succeed. As I say, it's like flipping the switch. By the way, back to what we were talking about, don't let somebody flip your switch. It's your job to constantly flip that switch to the vibration that you want. The longer you stay there, you keep that attitude there, you keep that switch turned up, you're sending out that vibration and you're bringing what you want faster. So notice this week, is your attitude, this is a big one. So we said, what's attitude? I didn't want to answer. I'm not sure what the attitude is. Is your attitude based on circumstances Or is it based on understanding? Because what you're getting here in M3 is understanding that you're the creator of your attitude. You're the one that causes this to happen in your life. So if your attitude is negative and you find it just by your vibration, by your feeling, your attitude's based on circumstances. Attitude coming in based on whatever. Somebody comes through the door and they just say that I'm going to impart this vibration on you. And then you become a part of that. Also, your big wins. Yeah, we celebrate their wins and we're thankful for them. But sometimes that's being involved with attitude based on circumstances. Your attitude should be positive no matter what. Keep it positive no matter what. Yeah, when you win, you want to get excited. But at the same time, you don't want to let your win be the whole thing. You don't want to, you know that you win because you choose to be excited first. You're an excited, happy person. You're not just happy when you win. Is my attitude based on circumstances, or is it based on, hey, I just got a good attitude. I have a happy attitude. I'm positive all the time. I'm only thinking about what I want. Begin to create your attitude based on understanding. So one, when you notice you are feeling negative, ask yourself, what's causing this feeling? Just create the awareness around yourself. Consciously shift the positive to the positive. Remember, you can only attract what you're in harmony with. So every minute you spend longer in the negative, you're attracting that. Vice versa, think of it this way. You're pushing away what you don't want or what you want. When you're thinking that your goal, you're feeling that your goal can't happen for you, and you're coming up with the reasons why it can't happen for you, you're actually in a negative stance and you are pushing that out that way and also attracting what's true now for you. So how to make positive attitude shifts quickly. You all know this. This is how we talk about everything is vibration. What's a quick way to change your vibration, man? Turn on some music. You can be going down the road and a song comes on and it'll take you to a place. It'll change your vibration. Use music. It's a tool. No wonder we've been doing it for so long. You know, we've had music in our culture, our humans, since whenever. Vibration. It's changing that. Not fully over the allergies yet, but I am going to be soon. All right. Nature, another law, the way things work. Nature can't stand a vacuum, as they say. So when you send something out, there's an empty space there, and you're going to take on something that's like it. Send somebody love. That's a quick way to change your vibration. Yeah, randomly is okay. You're in a tight spot and you're just not liking the way things are going. Think about somebody else. Type out a text from the heart to a friend. Send it out to them. Just give it to them. Mean it from the heart. You'll immediately take on that energy. You're raising, that's the cool part about it. You're raising the vibration of the world right there in that moment. By you doing that, you change your vibration. Gratitude. What are you thankful for? Just get down to the basics. Like, it's so simple to walk around with our blinders on and go, you know what? My kitchen just isn't working just right or whatever. It's like, man, you know, like, I've got my health. I've got my wonderful wife right there. You know, she's figured out how to put up with me. I've got all these wonderful things in my life. You just name it. Like, you want to feel love too? Like my dog. Oh my gosh, that guy just loves me no matter what. He is my walking with me vibrational razor all the time. Lifter. What are you thankful for? It doesn't have to be complicated. Could be like you just like your brand of coffee, which I do. Tastes so good. Goal script. You got your goal. I'm starting to get clear on what it is your goal. I want to tell you about what a goal script is. That's you talking to you from now in this point. How happy and grateful you are that you're goaling, that you have those things. You're giving gratitude in a future state, but you're speaking from the point now. I'm so happy and grateful that I've created dance studios all over the United States. or I've become the most sought after, person teaching dance and sharing dance with people. People are so uh, uh, um, affected positively by what it is and the way that I bring dance and share it with people. That's what that is, and it's you talking to yourself there. And if you all want a little help creating that, you just reach out to me. I have the ability. I'm sure you probably have it more than this tech guy, but I can mix that to music, and I can stick that, back to you. You can stick it in your ears, and you can go for a walk, and you can listen to yourself. Just talk to yourself from there, and you can feel it. That's a powerful, powerful tool. Yeah, I put it there. If you don't have one, get one. It's the story of you. All you're doing right now is walking around telling yourself a story that's showing up as your life. You just start telling yourself that story in a little more specific direction. That's it. That's attitude. Attitude is a composite of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. It's a vibration. You're either in vibrational harmony with what you want or what you don't want. Make sure that you know how to stay in vibrational harmony with what it is that you want, and you're going to be bringing it to you even faster. Next week is MVP. It's the most valuable person, the key to being a great leader. The reason these modules go the way that they do is being a leader isn't about directing people so much as it is about learning to impart that vibration that we're talking about. When you learn to share that vibration with a group, being a true leader, it's not about forcing and micromanaging and stuff. It's about being able to send that vibration out. And first, in order to do that, you've got to understand what success is for them. When you take somebody else's success and you tie it with your success, just imagine how much faster you succeed. Everybody wins. M3, you guys rock. You got some shares? You got anything you just want to let it rip here? Thank you all. I appreciate you so much. You all been getting the recordings?
Yes.
You heard me say too this week. I'm going to go for M3, the group, the private group better. And I'm going to create that space. I was touched tonight by what was said. And it's like, we need to create that space so you can come jump over and say, oh my gosh, I'm kind of having a challenge with this. And we can all chime in with one another. That's what we're here to do, is lift people up. So I'll be active on there, and I'll be sharing. I'm going to share this recording on there and start sharing our recordings for M3 on there too. So, boom.
Boom.
Love you guys. You're the best, man. I can't thank you enough for being a part of this. You really make my Tuesdays.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next week.